impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less.
We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually.
I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know.
Oh, pause. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened?
Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright.
Bro, please.
You'll scare Trucy.
Huh? Okay. Speaking of which, where is she?
You've seen the problem yourself. The
The heck?
letter.
The one shot in the forehead one, right?
Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny that my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death.
Right now.
This is something I will not say, for now, at least.
This is for now business.
I have done many things in my life, some well, some poorly.
I hate niggas like you.
But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves.
We?
You wanted to know more about the night about the incident.
I know this guy sure likes to take his sweet ass time getting to the important stuff.
Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor.
Great.
I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. And found there upon his bedside 2 pistols.
2.
Yes. The one I had used on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, the aunt.
Oh, for the Zach of Valence quick draw thing.
My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment.
You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him?
Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first.
So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before.
To be honest, I have not always been this steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy.
Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow?
Coerce.
Thank you. Just what was going on in Troop Grammary. It's always them
Yet-
houses, man, them celebrity houses.
Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it into my pocket.
In your pocket?
I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. The, what were those called?
Rifling marks?
Ah, yes. Well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case.
Well, that's annoying. Concerning the case? I mean, there's something else you could tell my ass?
Ah, ha, ha, ha. You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright.
Thanks.
Yes. There is something. My mentor. His eyes opened.
What? Magnifi Grammary?
The old devil? He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him in any way. And And there we have had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5, 10 minutes if so.
What did you talk about? We did eat.
Ah ha ha ha, Mr.
Okay.
Wright.
Alright.
Did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Quick, Phoenix, activate the Nagatama.
Zach Grammary. He seems pretty steadfast to me. Or maybe just stubborn.
Mr. Wright?
Mr. Wright,
Oh, my bad.
come back, bro. Like,
Miss you. Even the judge misses you.
and it's just he just drooling and staring off into space.
Once again, I am in your hands.
Right. Let's get back in there. Back in this bitch. Let's get back in this bitch.
April
Top of the
19th,
morning.
11:37 a.m. District Court Courtroom
All
number
right.
I've
11.
never heard so many niggas at once.
Alrighty.
Top of the morning, top of the
That was-
morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the
Phoenix,
morning.
come back. The kids miss you.
Of course they do.
They had sex?
Is now back in session.
During our recess, a bullet was found and dug out from the clown's head.
Well, this is news. And the rifling marks?
There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon.
Well, that's not very conclusive now, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness.
The decisive witness? How many times I've heard those words?
All the time.
That they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think.
Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production,
Stop the cap.
being the other half of Troop Grammary's famous duo, Zack and Valet.
Alan Grammary. So we get to meet the great Magnifice's other disciple.
It's me.
Perhaps we'll
mustache,
start
Mac.
off. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Go ahead, Darien.
I forgot what voice I was gonna give this guy.
Give him a
He ain't old no
showman's
more.
voice. Give him a dramatic
Little
voice.
Alan Grammary, magician.
You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt.
Fate. Grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks.
Wait. The shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late?
If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes.
Okay. I always get the characters, don't I?
I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar.
Wait. It's the same letter Zach Grammary received.
Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da!
Order! Order, order! What does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself.
My beloved student ballot. Dear pesky plumbers.
Meet you at Koopa's Castle.
Blue.
Oh shit. Why? It's practically the same! The court accepts this into evidence.
Electric Boogaloo.
This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? Y'all
It's
niggas
good with y'all
crazy.
niggas.
What exactly was your troop Grammary up to?
By what you mean?
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion, Air Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them.
We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there's a strain and a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. I had sexual relations.
By which you mean you're not gonna tell us?
I wonder if Troop Grammary explored each other's bodies.
That'd be hard. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse.
Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters.
Starters like Pokemon, haha.
The defendant, Zach Grammary, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that. Where he walks, the red roses rise singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. I almost had a stroke.
Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect.
Ooh, the veteran.
The letter,
don't know.
the murder, the weapon. And out of 2 damn bullets found at the scene?
In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
As every magician knows, timing is everything.
Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up.
That night, I visited the hospital room at the time. At the time, Magnifique requested. Smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final blow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. But a deal with the dead is still a deal. A sweet kiss I gave to the clown. I informed the doctor and the police.
You a snitch.
Rat Grammary.
Rat Grammary, it seems. So you were the one who reported to the ops. I see. Understood.
Indeed. I would think
Bitch ass nigga.
this fact alone would clear my name from suspicion.
Let's not jump to any conclusions, alright?
Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant Zach Grammary is guilty.
And if it wasn't Zach Grammary, then the killer was you, Valent. And no disappearing act will get you out of this one.
Better not put the camera up.
Got you right where I want you.
Magic, timing is everything.
Right.
Consider the illusion of teleportation. Oh, Golden Freddy, bro! If I were to appear on stage for my...
Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. That sweet kiss I gave to the clown.
Let's press that.
Why not?
There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you?
No doubt my partner Zach has said much the same thing.
Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I better dig around here a bit more, see what I can turn up.
Ooh, turn
Mr.
it.
Allen, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene. Namely,
The number of pistols.
yeah,
Yes.
how many pistols were in there when you entered the room?
By which you mean what, precisely?
2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valiant quick draw. Shoot 'em, correct. 1 for each of you.
You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night.
What does Zack tell me back in the lobby?
Flashback time.
Blue.
Oh, my bad. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor.
Aha!
Snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. He found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it into my pocket. I see no problems with the statement. Only
heck,
one
Judge
pistol is
disappeared.
visible. Only one pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene after all.
So you picked up that pistol and fired it.
Indeed I did. Alakazam, alakazing, alakbar.
Everyone get down.
Is the number of pistols really so important?
How many
Quite
pistols
important.
did he say were in the room?
You said there was one.
Okay, yeah, that's important.
Tape.
Go away. The number of pistols is quite important at your age.
Very well. My bad. Please add this detail to your testimony. I'm having a conversation with someone.
Did you want to pause until you're done?
No. It's good. I'm good now.
What can I do but obey?
Only one pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown.
So let me see what that gun talking about. Alright, run over the rifle and marks match bullet found in victim. There we go. Simple. Didn't shoot the clown, shot the victim.
I agree.
I know I was wrong.
Darien.
I agree.
We know you love the music and you miss it.
According to the defendant, Zach Gramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table.
2!
Dos.
One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket.
Of course, this is what we would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head.
Well, what about what Valorant? What Mr. Valorant? Valorant?
Valorant. Just
You
told
see, there's something about this testimony that doesn't quite make sense.
What might that be? I told you, I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown.
That's your story, at least.
No need.
But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. V-Word. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us.
We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullet were a perfect match.
Mr. Valiant, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead.
Now he stands up.
He good. He's good.
Shut the fuck up.
Dale, calm your asses down. Well, this is all rather sudden.
What have I done?
Prosecutor Gavin?
I owe the court an apology.
Update
Sorry,
the court log.
Sorry for what?
you see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved that the type of gun that fired them.
But that's not what you told us before. You said you'd verify the murder weapon. So now what?
Which is why
Liar.
I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add.
We didn't.
Lying liar who lies.
Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth?
I mean,
When you
for
stay
us,
That
yeah.
was just this morning.
Come on, we all say it in our spare time. I'm still young. And, might I add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now.
Bellingham Marie,
Yes.
you were presented to this court as a decisive witness. But you've proven to be a bit more divisive than decisive, my nigga.
Well, I got him, GG's.
You'll see in time.
Bro, villain arc?
The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin?
Nah. When Mr. Valiant entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, right, the real fight is about to begin.
Bring it.
Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what.
Guido shot first.
I arrived at the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say, 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation and called the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me. It wasn't me.
But I caught you in the med bay.
It wasn't me.
But they had a conversation for 10 to 15 minutes.
Those times are rather close, you gotta admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi.
It is easy to explain in this situation, Air Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Streaming on SoundCloud, Spotify, by the way. Cue to the song. Press the play button and it will play for 2 minutes 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same.
Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long. What a ripoff.
Exactly, that's that.
Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus.
Bars! Damn!
And in the time of death,
That's his idea.
determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth.
Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times. And we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
I would hope the defense refrains from customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus in this case still clearly demands.
Point taken. Baseless remarks result in a penalty.
Racist remarks.
Racist.
Carry on, Mr. Wright. I'm watching your ass.
Carry on. Pretty on fleek. Pretty.
Oh,
What?
you heard?
Oh my god, my screen disconnected for a second. I was
Okay,
a little horrified.
so explain this. Only certain statements will cause you to get a penalty. Which statements those are, I'm not telling you clearly, but just so you know. He
It's
was
a
quite
hospital.
clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m.
Me must have more.
Let's press that one.
More, Darien.
The health bar's not even here.
This nigga is. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about these. How could the doctor be so precise with the time?
We do usually only get an estimated time of death. True.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I heard of a verified time of death.
There's a check mark on it.
Body report.
Magic reveals in making the complex appear simple. It reality is the opposite. What appears complex, in this case, is a simple matter of subtraction.
I see another person has done their arithmetic homework.
The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Magnifique Grammy's schedule. Every night at 11, Magnifique took an IV drip for 30 minutes.
I can see the IV bag there, yes.
Now, look at it a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end.
I don't wanna.
Ah, the needle's been removed.
Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot.
That would seem to be the case.
When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips.
You could just measure the remaining IV liquid.
Precisely. The IV liquid functions, for our purposes, as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped after 10 minutes of administration.
Oh, thanks for updating that.
You
just-
updated.
Nothing got updated.
And so it was when I, Valence, entered the room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof.
Well, Mr. Wright?
Did that seem important?
It feels important, but I don't really know how to say exactly how.
Are you metagaming right now?
I'm going by feelings over facts. I wouldn't necessarily call that metagaming unless that's what metagaming is.
I think it's important.
I disagree. Because.
Why is it?
Well, at least.
Can you explain why it's not important?
I'll go along with you guys' feelings for now.
Okay.
Well, seeing how it is the big
Fuck.
clue, I'd say it's very important.
Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold, the power of arithmetic. Very well. If x equals 5, then
You don't know your math, Judge.
the witness will add this to his testimony.
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is these nuts.
Stop saying that.
The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence.
It's present.
Press.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance?
When first I entered that room, stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, left arm, did I spy a rose, drooping and wilted. Its thorn, the discarded IV needle.
Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect.
Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color of the Supreme King.
Your what? Lucky color.
Was that blue or what?
No, your lucky color.
Oh,
Lucky color.
for some reason I thought blue said that.
Indeed. Even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. Upon my... He's speaking patois? For it always without fail brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valence won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians, in other words, AIM, I was adorned by this attire then too, and our trophy, a bust. Ah, what a day that was.
Shut up, Miguel. This is one trip down memory lane no one needs.
My lucky color, yes indeed. That IV too. I say I think it was hued especially for me. Balance!
That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony?
Oh, Valen sure looks happy with himself. Wait, was that IV yellow? I asked that, but I was muted.
Can we look at the Ivy picture?
Bruh,
Because
the
he
IV
said that was his
green
lucky
as hell.
color. I was gonna say it's his lucky color, but that shit
Brr,
was
yucky.
green. What?
I knew that shit was fake.
I give it a pass. It was probably mellow yellow, but it was the blue tint, you know? Let's keep it moving.
I think it's important. Yeah, either way.
Sometimes, like, when you, like, pee,
It's a contradiction.
it's that color.
It was the asparagus.
It's a contradiction.
Yeah, what she said. Darren also agrees with me because we're like telepathic with it. Especially considering he's in my room right
I've
now.
seen tables and
I thought
said
Russo was in your room. What?
It certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck.
I just thought something crazy just now, bro.
No,
that. Probably.
please. But not this time.
Christ.
Mr. Valorant, your lucky colors betrayed you.
He's probably colorblind, actually.
On some J shit. I'm afraid you've lost me.
Rage. The witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence, and now we're moving.
Hey, yo, remember what I said at the beginning of this shit, nigga? Shit talking will not be tolerated. I do hope this latest accusation is well based, my nigga.
Is based.
Don't fret, I've got all your racists right here.
Very well. Let's hear this shit.
Top of the
Where
morning.
is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valen has told us?
Show
Picture.
him the green. Show him the boogers.
That green stuff. The crime scene tells all, Your Honor.
Hey, yo. A photo of the crime scene.
All this talk of color and has me yearning for black and white. Clear-cut simplicity.
I'll get you some
Alright,
Oreos.
Professor.
Tell us, Air Wright, just where is the contradiction in this photo?
My pleasure, and I assure you, it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white.
It's bigger than black and white.
Uh-oh.
I'm with the whole way of life.
Let's see what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony?
Alright, so using the eyedropper tool.
Try his nips, I guess.
Can't even
Let's
see
look.
them shits.
Oh. I was looking at the
Let's-
white things, my fault.
Let's go to the top right corner.
Yeah, the white in the top right corner.
And then yeah.
Make sure you select the blue part of the ivy just in case.
I'll put it on the top of the square.
Valiant Grammary. Let's get one thing straight about your little lucky color. It's yellow, yes.
No,
No, it's actually green.
That's crazy.
Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes.
There's something wrong with yellow. Yellows,
It's
Mr. Wright?
Yo,
It's a pink color. Bruh.
Yes, there is. Decisively wrong.
Somewhere Athena feels a disturbance in the force.
Bruh.
Take another look at the photo of the crime scene.
Judge.
Oh shit. Ayo, what's this?
Fortnite.
Confusion, doubt. Tell us, what does your elderly eye spy?
Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valent. Look at that 4-bag, my nigga.
Look at them rolls.
What's this? That foul magic?
Nigga, it's a picture.
It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. Hard to call the IV liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph.
Allahu Akbar!
Oh my god.
All the animals
gods are
flew all
in.
over the room and started attacking everyone.
Hey, yo, shut y'all asses up and tell me what the fuck this means.
This is some kind of mistake.
Wow, he couldn't even see the yellow?
Yes,
Damn
Prosecutor
shades,
Gavin.
his whole color palette is off.
Your witness's mistake, nigga.
That's why he doesn't wear them anymore.
The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience.
That's a bar.
Man said, I'm kind of that nigga right now.
Mm-hmm. Brown and Grammy, as you
I don't need
reminded
no
us several
Mayo
times,
Look at them all stanced up.
your lucky little color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not. I don't know why we have to go through this for so long, you know?
It's so funny, like seeing him so confident, just knowing he's about to get his whole career ended after this.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, he said the N-word. Ban him, ban him.
The contradiction can mean only one thing.
And to think, you almost had me.
Almost.
I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright.
why you gotta say it like that?
Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor
Game
Gavin?
right? That is the game.
As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does indeed contradict the evidence. My nigga, it should.
Yes, a contradiction. One that shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright.
Uh-oh.
How do you mean?
How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree, at a glance, the IV liquid does appear to be a greenish yellow.
Oh,
But it's
get out of
actually
here.
yellow.
Get out. No,
That's-
get out. Get out. I know exactly.
I knew you were gonna say that.
out. Man.
But I assure you, the liquid itself is quite yellow.
Oh my god.
Yellow liquid? How the hell you can say that? As far as I can tell from this picture, it's green, my nigga.
Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself?
Shut up.
The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook?
It's clear, nigga. It's clearly clear.
It looks like I want to say a light blue?
Precisely. Figured it out yet. Put the yellow liquid in a blue bag, and
You get green.
this, incidentally, is the liquid's true color.
Delicious.
Ah, I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it.
Let me open the bag just to be sure.
As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin, or he was charging up that line.
What?
Man said I'm charging him.
You may tell a good tale. However, you're just proving something rather grave for you, that is.
Grave?
The liquid in the IV is yellow, right? But how did this witness know that? Like, come on, let's be real with ourselves.
Got him.
Look at him. It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how the fuck did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow?
He got him. He got the best corner right here.
Hey, yo, sit y'all asses down! Mr. Wright, you'll explain this at once!
I bet that Ivy went flying when he got shot.
You hear that OG for Snoop theme? I sure do.
I do it too. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid. So I'm sure it means something. But what?
I'm dumb. Explain it to the rest of the class.
I can only think of one thing. Your Honor. The witness, Valiant Grammary, has testified. He's pretty much self-reported, if you ask me.
He knew it? I'm kind of like the judge right now.
Technically, aren't all of these the right answer if you're thinking what I'm thinking?
Honestly, like I'm stuck.
I'm just gonna go with the bottom one.
Yeah.
They had more words.
Yeah.
That's-
Explain
You
it more
guys
clearly.
are amazing. I'll tell you what.
From the facts before us, the answer is kind of clear.
There were two correct
Obviously.
answers.
Oh.
The
Thank
middle
God,
one was
that was
also correct.
The witness knew that the IV liquid it was yellow. It was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before.
There you go.
Yeah. It was just the logic they used. It's just like, huh? That's something. That sure is something.
But not
Wouldn't be
inside
the
the blue
fir-
bag we see in the photo.
It wouldn't be the first time they've done that, Blue.
It's not, but I'm surprised every time.
He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag.
Huh?
I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what this all means.
Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor.
That's bullshit.
I'm afraid I find nothing. So what if he knew the IV's liquid color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, yeah?
Dang.
The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. Alright, a 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin.
I remember it well.
However, nevertheless, furthermore, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag.
Hey, yo, wait, I know! Pick me! An hourglass uses sand, but a 4-bag uses liquid. Am I right? Right?
Whoa, nigga.
As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, shut up.
You're wrong.
Unlike the sand through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body. At which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way knowing how much went in.
Let me get this straight, Air Right. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag?
No, not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you know the IV liquid was yellow.
Sorry. Now wait, I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task?
Just throw it in there.
I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. You know what I'm saying?
I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat?
He has a point, amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
I at least would have had some difficulty pouring 4 liquid into that bag.
You don't need to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death.
I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence.
Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth?
Violent grammary. I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime.
Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting?
Magic relies on props, and props become evident. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was... Oh, clearly the
needle?
syringe. Simple.
the victim's syringe?
It's a perfect prop for the magically increasing 4 trick. And easy enough for an amateur to use.
What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it.
You dumb as hell, boy. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin?
What?
The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valen Grammary, I would love to hear more. As you pointed out yourself, the Ivy Liquid makes the perfect clock. One that could manipulate at will.
The bird.
I do believe, what with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much for Prosecutor Gavin. Smiling through the pain. I'm afraid that while there is a doubt as to the amount of 4 liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today.
Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much needed investigation work.
I see there are no objections. Oh, let's fuck.
Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively.
You wanna be me so bad, nigga.
Avoid the wise. Underestimate the young, and they'll sweep you they'll sweep your feet from under you in a way you never, ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking.
No.
You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of IV liquid, but there's no proof.
There's no proof he didn't do it either.
Yes, quite true.
Huh? He's admitting it? Good.
Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much?
You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin?
Proof, Air Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less.
Hey yo, what's this?
This
The death?
is the victim, Magnifique Grammari's diary.
Your diary?
After
gay?
going into the hospital, Magnifique began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his starting debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death.
Wait. That book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request?
Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we?
If the night's IV isn't maybe the last, I leave the rest of them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Okay.
This does not appear to have been written just before his death. I mean, shit!
Yes.
Recording substance into evidence. No, I don't know how to read.
Read the very
It's
last
okay,
part
Judge.
with particular care.
Try again.
This journal
Judge.
may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Zach Grammary.
That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor, after all.
But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here, or it may go on. It may go on. Magnifique Grammary intended to write again. That is, if Zach Grammary didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Because Magnifique's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Grammary.
Sit your asses down! Prosecutor Gavin? Are you certain that Magnifique Grammary wrote this?
There is no
Do you think
mistaking it. His handwriting.
Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnifique did intend to continue his diary. Yet, if his diary ended here, which plainly it did,
Then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Grammary. Well, how do you like me now, Erudite? Still too green for your taste?
In green. What is your problem, green?
Greenhorn.
this little nigga got something to prove,
Fade
it seems.
to black. He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence.
Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking. I won't lie to you. Well, put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case.
If the diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something.
No need.
What?
Instant game over.
Let's look at the evidence.
Right.
What was that letter next to the ivy? Not the ivy,
There's a ripped up ass page right there.
yeah, that ripped up page. I didn't say.
Received just
Check
before
it.
the trial too. I remember now.
It seems safe clock making it at least only less than 10 with.
But that's definitely it.
Ah, yeah.
He knew he was going to die.
Show evidence.
What? Never mind.
Show evidence.
Nothing.
Not he made it.
Shut up. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence.
Hey, yo? You have some evidence that overturns this diary?
Or I'll return all. Remember that.
It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment.
Very well. Show us what you got, my nigga.
Incidentally, don't even think of showing this diary I've already shown to the court.
Not
Oh
stupid.
man,
Now that
he
we've
got
come
us,
this far,
guys.
I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary.
Free.
Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't end with this page is...
The ripped
The
out
extra page.
Yeah, the page that was clearly from the diary.
First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has clearly been ripped out of that bitch.
Hey, yo? Shit. I ain't see that shit, TBH.
And that's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Would you just look at God?
What the? I don't believe it.
What, Addy?
Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifique Grammary. That's the defense's position.
Hey, wait. Hey, let me peep that.
I got you, dog.
Damn, don't snatch it.
What in the Sam Hill?
Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary.
Almost said the hard R the same way Damon Gant did in the first.
They
Note
don't know
the
that.
torn-
They don't know that that happened.
Note the torn edge of the page is a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in McAfee's diary.
Quite remarkable.
Would you care to explain what all this means, Heir Attorney?
Diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Ramery left. Funny as fuck. Leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valent Grammary.
No. No. No.
The handwriting, too. It matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article.
Wow, he did it!
All right. Shut up.
But wait. It's impossible. Our old man couldn't have written that.
And he didn't.
Okay.
Finally. You just couldn't resist. Could you, Heir Right?
Resist. Oh shit, my bad.
I didn't the fuck up.
Resist.
Resist what? Getting solid evidence?
Heir Judge,
Yup.
might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness.
Oh, brother.
Prosecutor Gavin? This evidence overturns the current witnesses.
I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness is a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor.
Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, what's your take on this?
Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway. So it might as well be sooner. Come on.
One fatal mistake cost me my whole career.
Then, though this is highly, highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring the surprise witness to the courtroom.
I had a bad feeling just then.
That this witness was gonna get my ass.
That ripped out page was just too obvious. He must have known. I should have known it was a bad sign all around.
Holding trial with no audience is a first. Even for me, Prosecutor Gavin.
I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony.
A judiciary deal?
The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room.
Very well. And, you are the witness, I gather?
Yes, sir. Yes. State your name and occupation for the record. My name is Chu Misham. I'm a painter.
A painter? And you are somehow related to this case?
No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah, I know it well.
How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it.
You what? You made it?
Yes. You might call it one of my works. The regional prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramery.
Illegal evidence?
I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words.
Forgeries? What kind of mess?
Well, so are we to understand that this page here is a
fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney.
Alright, bro. Man, what? I didn't prepare this evidence. That is so crazy because we didn't even know what this
Yes, you
problem
did.
was.
No take backs.
The attorney speaks.
no takesy backsies?
Something about this page, I presume. But what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right?
Witness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client?
That... I don't know.
Nigga.
Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want, and they receive payment. That's the extent of my contract with them.
But there's no proof this is a fake.
It's a fake.
Oh, got me there. GG's, guys. Over?
To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without a doubt, this is mine.
Gotcha.
I usually nut on the back of it.
Let it dry, let it crust.
Sometimes I...
Mr. Wright.
And give it a peck.
You have just presented illegal evidence
It just says on the
to
back.
this court.
It just says on the back, made by Drew Misham. This shit illegal, my nigga.
This shit not real, my guy. You have just presented
This is
illegal
literally
evidence.
bullshit.
Illegal evidence to this court. My court.
I was careless.
He was careless with me. That's all I can say.
Old boy! Here.
It's all your fault.
What's these?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important.
Yeah, she didn't know any better.
They were all a trap. A fatal trap.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Do you have an explanation for yourself, my nigga?
If I did, would the court hear it?
Probably not.
What a life to live.
Forging evidence is a serious crime. And presenting it in court, a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney.
Yeah, I'll
Damn, I
repeat
guess we
this.
really did need the phase. This is the perfect time for Mia to like just channel herself with her big bazongas.
Right?
Like be like, objection, Your Honor.
Fate too. Perhaps for your clients, I fear.
Yeah, he's just gonna auto die
The one time
instantly,
you use the
honestly.
Mia button.
Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? And the answer is quite clear. A guilty one.
He's just shouting out, Mia! Help!
Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is like bullshit. But you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual.
That's cap, Mr. Wright.
Handable.
Your Honor,
Another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself.
What a bitch.
I see no need for further discussion of this matter. Special witness dismissed.
So how can we get this guy deported?
Mr. Attorney,
fuck do you want?
could I ask your name?
Imagine. Jesus H. Christ.
Mr. Christ, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright.
As you go to jail.
Guys,
Well, I guess that matters.
Ready to go to jail, nigga?
Though I deeply regret to having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must. Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zack. There's one thing I wish to make clear here. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible.
You still
To
talking
prison you
about that
go.
I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you, my nigga.
I'm doing it right now.
Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict? When your defendant does not exist. Doesn't exist? What are you talking about, my guy? I am talking about this.
Smoke bomb.
What the fuck?
The defendant's escaped. Find him, quick.
Bailiff!
Oh my
Hey.
god.
Close all exits from the building.
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Nigga swear they Batman.
On the double! He must not be allowed to escape.
That day in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shadi Enigmar, aka Zach Gramery, did not just escape from court, but he moved to Cuba. He literally vanished, actually. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again, not since that day.
This sister's. Oh.
Grammar.
no verdict was declared.
No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist.
Absentee father for real, for real.
That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Gramery vanished along with him for all eternity.
Well, he just abandoned his daughter though.
That chair looked funny to me. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however. But not until 7 years later.
The 7-year run back in the making.